Hey friends, I was supposed to do a podcast call today, this morning at 9 a.m. And at about 3 a.m. last night, I realized I wasn't asleep yet. And I realized there's a good chance that I wasn't going to make it for the podcast call with my friend Krita. We've done a podcast together before, it went really well. So I texted him, hey man, there's a chance that I'm not gonna make it because I might not wake up in time. I'm gonna set an alarm, but I have a tendency to sleep through my alarms. And I fell asleep, and it was like a super rainy morning, which temperature was colder than usual, and I just was out like a light. And I woke up at probably like 11 a.m. And I saw, first of all, when I woke up, when I realized that I was awake and late, I just felt this sinking feeling in my stomach, like, oh fuck, I fucked up. And I raced to my computer to check my DMs, and he was cool with it. He was like, oh, so even after I texted him, like an hour later or so, he was like, oh, no worries, dude. Like, if we have to reschedule or whatever, it's fine. And then he, at 9 a.m. he sent me the link, and about like 9:40 something, he's like, oh, I probably gotta head off. We'll reschedule, it's fine, it's no big deal. Which was wonderful of him, sweet guy. And I am like, fuck, I wanted to do the podcast. And it's more of like, I started beating myself up internally because it just reminded me that there's a part of me that's like flashbacks to when I was younger and missing appointments all the time, being late for things all the time, late to school, late to work. Well, my colleagues didn't have a fixed kind of you could come to work at whatever time, but we did occasionally have meetings, and I usually wasn't late for those. But like once in a rare while I would be late, and it would remind me of. Anyway, I was beating myself up about it for a good, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. I was just feeling like shit, like, fuck, I'm irresponsible of me. I should have done something to prevent it. I should have gone to bed earlier. Why was I up so late the night before? Why did I leave it to chance? And it's true. Those are things that I can do better next time. Like I should make sure that if I have a call in the morning, I should go to bed early. I'm getting older, and I can no longer kind of depend on, I hope I wake up. Like I should just make it the fact that if I need to wake up at 9, I have to be in bed by midnight, right? Otherwise, it just doesn't work. And okay, there's no need for me to like kick my ass about it. And the interesting thing is, I was on my alt Twitter, and I saw one of my friends, and she was dealing with, I'm not gonna specify what her thing was, but like she was having like intrusive thoughts about something else, right? Like she was bothered about something that she didn't have information from other people about. So she was like, oh, is it like this? Is it like that? And I, being the kind of big brother figure that I try to be to my friends, to my younger friends, I was like, of course not. Like don't worry about that. Like, it's you can if you are worried about that, you can try this and you can try that, and then that will be, that will work out that way, and then you'll find that you'll be fine. And she was like, oh, yeah, actually that's true. It's like it's again, I'm being vague. I don't want to specify other people's issues, but like just it was a thing, and I could see her kind of beating herself up about it, and it wasn't necessary, and so I offered reassurance. And that was after I had already, like, just minutes after my thing. It's like I just woke up, I haven't had my coffee yet, and doing that for her made me realize that I can do the same for me. That if I was in my friend's position, I would forgive anybody, like a friend, a colleague, like I have a rule, like if anybody needs a pass, like to postpone a meeting, skip something, like I'm good. Like I always forgive people the first time, and even like the second time I'm cool. And like, I guess if there's a third time, I'm probably like, you know what, I'm not gonna, like, let's just call it off, right? Like, and even then, I wouldn't get angry, I wouldn't get upset. I'll just be like, this is not working out. You know, there's something on your end, maybe, like, you know, I like this 3 strikes rule, right? And yeah, you know, people have emergencies, people have circumstances beyond their control, or you know, even with whether or not it's within their control, it's just whatever. They wanted to make it, they couldn't, they didn't, whatever. It's not a big deal. I would want to give any friend or stranger the gift of like reassurance, and that's those are my values. Different people have different values. Some people, you know, they have very high standards for making sure they never miss anything, and they also have high standards for making sure other people don't miss anything, and that's also fine, right? Like, as long as you are personally consistent with yourself about what your values are, and you know, live according to them, I think that's fine. And yeah, you know, I reassured myself. I'm like, and I thought it through. You know, it's like no harm was done. My friend was fine with it. We can reschedule. It's not a big deal. I don't need to beat myself up about this, because that doesn't actually help me improve outcomes, right? Like, so what is the outcome, right? The outcome is I was late for a thing. There was a cost to that, in that I did not get to do the podcast that I wanted to do. But you know, if I spend an extra hour beating myself up about it, that does not help me get anything else done that day, and it does not necessarily even make me likelier to not miss my next call, right? So for my next call, I should take steps to be sure that I make it on time. And it's even possible, I think, that beating myself up about this might make the next call less likely to be on time. If I'm thinking about like spirals of bad behavior, like fatigue spirals, shame spirals, whatever, it's like you feel bad, you feel guilty, and then you know there's like emotional turmoil, and then like your sleep is affected, or you're just stressed or whatever, and it's just everything just gets messier and more chaotic. Whereas if you can relax and see with clear eyes what's going on, it's easier to make the right decisions and let outcomes be what you want them to be. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk out loud about what happened today, and because maybe that'll be useful to some of you. And I feel like, so after I went through that, first with my friend to help her, and then with myself, I feel like I made some kind of minor breakthrough with myself, which is I was kinder to myself today for failing than I have been the last time I have failed in the same way, I think. And I do believe it's possible to get progressively kinder with failure without, you know, making excuses, without being an enabler, without, you know, becoming more flimsy and tolerant of unwanted behavior, right? Yeah, so time will tell, but I am feeling pretty good about this. And yeah, let me know how your experiences have been, you know, dealing with your own disappointment or your own frustration. Do you beat yourself up? Does anybody have the opposite problem where you're too forgiving of yourself to the point where it causes you more pain? I'd be curious to hear. Done.